The first thing Amelia saw after secretly regaining her eyesight was her billionaire husband kissing another woman in the hallway of their mansion. But the kiss wasn't what destroyed her. It was hearing the woman whisper, "She still doesn't know about the child." And suddenly, Amelia realized her blindness was never the real secret inside this marriage. Amelia Vale lived in darkness after a tragic accident stole her sight. And for 3 years, billionaire CEO Adrian Vale became the world's definition of a devoted husband. He guided her, protected her, stayed beside her. At least that's what the world believed. But behind the cameras and perfect interviews, their marriage had slowly become cold, distant, silent. Then one night, Amelia secretly regained her eyesight. And what she saw changed everything. And turn on notifications so you never miss another unforgettable story filled with love, betrayal, secrets, and shocking twists. Now let's begin. Rain hammered violently against the massive glass windows of Vale Manor. Lightning flashed across the dark sky, briefly illuminating the enormous mansion sitting alone on the hill like a beautiful prison. Inside the silent living room, Amelia slowly walked with one hand tracing the marble wall beside her. Every step felt familiar, careful, measured. 3 years of blindness had trained her body to memorize every corner of the house. Still, tonight felt different. "Adrian," she called softly. No answer. A sad smile touched her lips. Lately, silence had become her husband's favorite language. 3 years ago, Adrian used to guide her personally through every room. Now, there was always an excuse. Meetings, investors, emergency business trips. Amelia lowered herself beside the grand piano in the center of the room. Her fingers hovered above the keys, but stopped midway. Something inside her chest felt heavy tonight. Wrong. Then suddenly, a sharp pain stabbed behind her eyes. Amelia gasped and grabbed the edge of the piano. The doctor had warned her this could happen after the experimental surgery. Pressure, pain, temporary sensitivity. But Amelia had hidden something from everyone, including Adrian. 3 days ago, she started seeing shadows, small flashes of light, blurry outlines. And tonight, for the first time, the darkness cracked open completely. Amelia slowly blinked. The room appeared in fragments at first. Blurry chandeliers, golden lights, dark furniture. Then, gradually, everything sharpened. Tears instantly filled her eyes. After 3 years, she could see. Not perfectly, but enough. Enough to finally look at the world again. Enough to look at the husband whose face she had forgotten. Her breathing trembled as she stared around the luxurious mansion. The chandeliers sparkled like shattered diamonds above her. The marble floors reflected warm golden light. Paintings covered the walls. Flowers sat perfectly arranged across expensive tables. It was beautiful. Painfully beautiful. Amelia covered her mouth as tears rolled down her cheeks. For years, she had imagined this moment, seeing sunlight again, seeing colors again, seeing Adrian again. Then suddenly, headlights flashed through the windows. A car pulled into the driveway. Her heart jumped instantly. Adrian. Amelia stood too quickly, almost losing balance. Excitement rushed through her chest. She quickly moved toward the staircase overlooking the entrance hall. The front doors opened below. Cold rain blew briefly inside. And there he was, Adrian Vale. Tall, sharp black suit, dark wet hair, powerful presence. Even after years of blindness, she recognized him instantly. Amelia's eyes softened emotionally. He was still handsome, still the man she loved. The man who stayed beside her after the accident. The man who once promised, "Even if you never see again, I'll be your eyes forever." But before Amelia could smile, another woman stepped inside behind him. Young, beautiful, long dark hair, wearing Adrian's expensive coat over her dress. Laughing softly, Amelia froze. The woman touched Adrian's chest intimately while saying something Amelia couldn't hear. And Adrian didn't stop her. Instead, he smiled. Not the polite public smile he gave investors and reporters. A real smile. Warm, natural. The kind Amelia hadn't seen in years. Her chest tightened painfully. No, she whispered weakly. Maybe she misunderstood. Maybe. Then the woman leaned upward and kissed him. Amelia's entire body went numb. The world seemed to stop moving. Rain continued outside. Thunder shook the windows. But inside Amelia, everything collapsed silently. Because Adrian kissed her back. Not quickly, not guiltily, like a man deeply in love. Amelia grabbed the staircase railing to stop herself from falling. Her breathing became uneven. Pain spread through her chest, so violently she thought she might faint. The woman laughed softly after the kiss. Does Amelia suspect anything yet? Adrian loosened his tie tiredly. She still thinks the surgery failed. Good, the woman whispered. Because if she finds out about the child too early, everything could fall apart. Child? Amelia's heartbeat stopped. What child? Suddenly Adrian turned slightly. Amelia panicked and instantly shut her eyes tightly. Footsteps approached. Closer, closer. Then Adrian's familiar voice softened. Amelia? She slowly turned her head, naturally, like she still saw nothing. There you are, he said gently. Gently, as if he hadn't just shattered her entire world. Amelia forced a weak smile. You're home late. Adrian kissed her forehead softly. Those same lips that kissed another woman seconds ago. Work meeting, he lied smoothly. Amelia nearly broke. But instead she smiled softly. And for the first time in 3 years, Amelia lied too. Because Adrian still believed his wife was blind. And now she was going to uncover every secret hiding inside this mansion, even if it destroyed her. Later that night, Amelia lay beside Adrian in their enormous bedroom pretending to sleep. Moonlight spilled softly across the room. Beside her, Adrian typed quietly on his phone. Amelia kept her breathing steady. Then the screen brightness reflected across his face. And for the first time in years, she watched her husband without him knowing. He looked exhausted, stressed, different, not cruel, which somehow hurt even more. Suddenly, Adrian stood carefully from bed and walked onto the balcony. Amelia slowly opened her eyes. She could hear his voice through the slightly open balcony door. I said she knows nothing. Silence. Then, no, Sophia. Stop panicking. Sophia. The woman downstairs. Amelia's stomach twisted painfully. Adrian rubbed his forehead. I'm handling it. More silence. Then Adrian spoke again quietly. The child changes everything. You know that. Amelia's heart pounded violently. Who was this child? And why did it sound like her entire marriage depended on the secret? Adrian returned inside moments later. Amelia quickly shut her eyes again. He stared at her for several seconds, then softly whispered, I'm sorry. Amelia nearly opened her eyes in shock. Sorry? For what? The affair? The lies? Or something worse? The next morning, sunlight poured into the massive dining room. Amelia carefully walked downstairs, pretending blindness. Every movement now felt strangely terrifying, because she could see everyone, and nobody knew. The house staff greeted her warmly. Good morning, Mrs. Vale. Amelia smiled softly, then froze. A little girl stood near the kitchen doorway, holding a stuffed rabbit. Amelia had never seen her before. Maybe 6 years old. Big brown eyes. Dark hair. The girl stared at Amelia curiously, then smiled innocently. Daddy said you can't see me. Amelia's entire body went cold. Daddy? Before Amelia could react, a nanny quickly grabbed the child's hand. Ella, come now. The little girl frowned. But I wanted to say hello to Daddy's wife. Amelia felt the world spin beneath her feet. Daddy's wife. Not Mommy. Daddy's wife. The nanny quickly rushed the girl away upstairs. Amelia stood frozen in silence. Then slowly, very slowly, she turned toward Adrian sitting at the breakfast table. And for the first time in years, she looked directly into her husband's eyes. He nearly dropped his coffee, because for one terrifying second, it almost looked like Adrian realized his blind wife could finally see. The breakfast room felt suffocating silent. Adrian slowly lowered his coffee cup, his sharp eyes locked onto Amelia's face. For one terrifying moment, Amelia thought she had exposed herself, because she forgot something important. Blind people didn't make eye contact. Quickly, she tilted her head slightly away, pretending uncertainty, pretending darkness. Adrian's expression softened again. "You okay?" he asked carefully. Amelia forced a small smile. "Of course." Her voice almost cracked. Across the room, the little girl peeked curiously from behind the staircase railing upstairs. Watching Amelia, watching Adrian, watching everything. The nanny quickly pulled her away again. But Amelia already saw enough. The child looked around 6 years old. Dark hair, brown eyes. And strangely, something about her smile felt familiar. Too familiar. Amelia slowly sat at the table. Her pulse refused to calm down. "Who was that little girl?" she asked casually. Adrian froze almost invisibly. Only for a second. But Amelia saw it. Years ago, she never noticed how controlled Adrian truly was. Every facial movement measured carefully. Every emotion hidden behind perfection. Now she saw everything. Adrian wiped his mouth calmly with a napkin. "She's the daughter of one of the house employees." Lie. Immediate lie. Amelia could feel it. Because children didn't casually wander through billionaire mansions calling powerful CEOs daddy. But Amelia simply nodded softly. "I thought she sounded close to you." Adrian stared at her strangely, almost suspiciously. "You seem different today." Her heart skipped violently. "Different?" "You're looking around more." Amelia's fingers tightened under the table. Think fast." She forced a small laugh. "I had a strange dream last night. Maybe that's why." Adrian watched her several seconds longer, then finally nodded. But his eyes remained cautious, dangerously cautious. Hours later, Amelia stood alone inside the massive walk-in closet. The moment Adrian left for work, the mansion atmosphere changed completely. Cold, tense, like the walls themselves were hiding secrets. Amelia slowly touched expensive dresses hanging beside her. For 3 years, she memorized these spaces with her hands. Now, she could finally see them. And strangely, seeing the mansion made her feel even lonelier. Everything looked beautiful, but none of it felt warm anymore. Suddenly, her phone vibrated. Unknown number. Amelia answered carefully. Silence. Then a woman's voice whispered softly, "You should stop searching." Amelia's blood turned cold. "Who is this?" "You were happier blind." The line disconnected instantly. Amelia stared at the phone in shock. Fear crawled slowly through her chest. Someone knew. Someone knew she was investigating. But how? Her breathing became shallow. Then suddenly, she remembered Adrian's office. For years, he never allowed anyone inside alone. Not even her. Especially after the accident. At the time, she thought he was protecting business privacy. Now, it felt different. Like he was hiding something. Amelia quickly walked through the mansion hallways. Every step felt dangerous. The office doors stood partially open downstairs. She entered carefully. Dark wood shelves lined the walls. Luxury watches displayed behind glass. Business awards everywhere. Cold perfection. But Amelia noticed something else immediately. A framed photograph turned face down on the desk. Why would someone hide a photograph? Slowly she picked it up and froze. It was Adrian, smiling beside Sophia, the woman from last night, standing together on a beach. Intimate, happy. Sophia rested her head against his shoulder while Adrian held her close. The photo looked old, very old, years old. Long before Amelia lost her eyesight, her stomach twisted painfully. This wasn't a recent affair. This relationship had existed for years. Possibly during their marriage. Amelia suddenly heard footsteps outside. Quickly, she returned the frame exactly how she found it. A maid passed the office doorway. Amelia pretended blindness instantly. "Mrs. Vale, are you looking for something?" Amelia smiled softly. "I got lost." The maid guided her back into the hallway politely. But Amelia's mind was racing now. Because she knew one thing for certain. Adrian's secrets were much older than she imagined. That night, Adrian hosted an investor dinner inside the mansion. Luxury cars filled the driveway. Powerful people laughed beneath crystal chandeliers. Champagne sparkled everywhere. Amelia stood elegantly beside Adrian wearing a silver gown. And for the first time in years, she could see everyone staring at her, admiring her beauty, pitying her blindness, whispering about their perfect marriage. The lies made Amelia sick. Across the room, Sophia arrived, wearing a stunning red dress. Confident, beautiful, dangerous. Amelia watched Adrian tense slightly the moment Sophia entered. Interesting. Even Adrian feared something. Sophia approached with a graceful smile. "Amelia," she said sweetly, "you look beautiful tonight." Amelia smiled politely. "Thank you." Sophia's eyes narrowed almost invisibly, studying her, like she sensed something had changed. Adrian quickly interrupted. "Sophia recently joined one of our charity foundations." Another lie. Amelia almost laughed. The entire room suddenly felt like a theater performance. Everyone pretending, everyone lying. Then, unexpectedly, little Ella ran into the ballroom chasing a balloon. The room fell silent instantly. Sophia's face turned pale. Adrian stood abruptly. The child froze after seeing so many strangers. Then, innocently, she pointed directly at Adrian. "Daddy." Complete silence. Glasses stopped moving. Conversations died instantly. Amelia slowly turned her head toward Adrian, pretending confusion. But inside, her heart shattered completely. Sophia rushed forward quickly. "Ella, sweetheart." But the child continued smiling happily. "Daddy said I can't call him that in front of people." A businessman near the piano awkwardly cleared his throat. Another woman exchanged shocked glances with her husband. Adrian's jaw tightened dangerously. For the first time all night, the perfect billionaire mask cracked. Sophia grabbed Ella quickly. "She's tired." "I'm so sorry." Then she disappeared upstairs with the child. The ballroom atmosphere became painfully tense. Amelia slowly turned toward Adrian. What did she mean? Adrian stared at her silently, then suddenly smiled calmly. A misunderstanding. The room visibly relaxed, because billionaires controlled narratives, and nobody wanted conflict with Adrian Vale. But Amelia noticed something else. Fear. Not embarrassment. Fear. Adrian wasn't afraid of scandal. He was afraid Amelia would discover the truth. Near midnight, after guests finally left, Amelia returned quietly downstairs. The mansion slept peacefully, but she couldn't sleep. Not anymore. She needed answers. Now, Adrian was inside the shower upstairs. This was her only chance. Amelia entered his office again. Moonlight spilled across the dark room. Her hands trembled slightly. Then she saw it. The safe hidden behind a painting. Slowly she approached. Her pulse thundered violently. What if she found nothing? What if she found everything? She carefully touched the keypad. Then suddenly remembered something. Adrian's birthday. She entered the numbers. The safe clicked open instantly. Amelia's breath caught. Inside were documents, cash, passports, and photographs. So many photographs. Her shaking hands pulled one picture free. Then the world stopped. It showed Adrian holding a newborn baby in a hospital room. Beside him was Sophia. But that wasn't the terrifying part. The terrifying part was another woman standing beside the hospital bed. A woman smiling weakly after childbirth. A woman who looked exactly like Amelia. Amelia stumbled backward in horror. No, tears instantly filled her eyes. That's impossible. Dr. Levin looked devastated. You lost memory during neurological trauma. Parts of your brain protected itself after childbirth complications. Amelia stumbled backward. Her breathing became sharp and panicked. No, you're lying. But deep inside, something cracked open. A memory. Pain. Bright hospital lights. A baby crying. A woman screaming. Amelia grabbed her head instantly. Images flashed violently through her mind. Blood. Machines. Adrian crying beside her bed. Then, Sophia holding a newborn baby. Amelia gasped loudly. The memory disappeared instantly. Dr. Levin stood quickly. You need to calm down. Where's my baby? Amelia whispered. The doctor looked horrified. Amelia, Where is my baby? Her scream echoed across the office walls. Tears streamed uncontrollably down her face. Dr. Levin's silence told her everything. Something terrible happened. Something nobody wanted her to remember. Then suddenly, the office door opened. Adrian stood there, his face pale with rage and heartbreak. For several long seconds, nobody moved. Then Adrian looked directly at the doctor. You told her. Dr. Levin looked shaken. She deserved the truth. Adrian's expression darkened dangerously. The truth, he said bitterly. You think she can survive the truth? Amelia stared at her husband through tears. What happened to my child? Adrian closed his eyes briefly, like the question physically hurt him. Then slowly, he whispered, Our daughter died. Silence. Complete silence. Amelia felt her soul collapse. Died? No. No, no, no. But before she could speak, a tiny voice suddenly echoed from the hallway outside. Daddy. Everyone turned instantly. Little Ella stood at the open doorway, holding her stuffed rabbit, looking directly at Amelia, then innocently smiling. And in that horrifying moment, Amelia realized something impossible. Ella had Adrian's eyes, but she had Amelia's smile. The photograph hit the floor with a soft sound. But to Amelia, it felt like a gunshot. Her entire body froze as her eyes stayed locked on the image beneath the desk. A woman who looked exactly like her, holding a newborn baby, standing beside Adrian, smiling like a family she had no memory of. No, this can't be real, Amelia whispered shakily. Her fingers trembled as she slowly picked the photo back up. Closer this time, searching for mistakes, a trick, anything. But the face remained the same. Her face, only slightly older, healthier, alive in a way Amelia didn't feel anymore. Her heartbeat began to rise uncontrollably. Then, footsteps echoed outside the office. Amelia's body snapped into survival mode. Adrian. She quickly shoved the photograph back into the safe, hands shaking violently as she struggled to close it properly. The footsteps stopped at the door. Silence. Amelia froze behind the desk, holding her breath so tightly it hurt. The doorknob turned slightly, then stopped. A pause. Too long. Adrian's voice came calmly from outside. Amelia, her chest tightened. Think. Act. Survive. She forced her voice to sound weak. Yes. Another pause. Then the door opened. Adrian stepped in, fresh from the shower, hair still damp, expression unreadable. But his eyes scanned the room too carefully, too aware. You're awake late, he said slowly. Amelia stood up carefully, pretending disorientation. I couldn't sleep. I was looking for water. Adrian studied her face. Not just looking, analyzing. For the first time, Amelia felt like she was the one being watched, not him. You should call me if you need anything, he said finally. Amelia nodded softly. I didn't want to disturb you. A lie. But so was everything else in this house. Adrian stepped closer. Too close. Amelia could smell his cologne now. The same cologne that had filled her world for years. Yet tonight, it felt unfamiliar, dangerous. His eyes dropped slightly. To the office at this hour? Amelia's throat tightened. I got lost. Silence again. Then Adrian suddenly smiled. A small one. Not warm. Not loving. Careful. That happens often lately, he said quietly. Amelia forced a faint smile back. I guess I'm still adjusting. Adrian nodded slowly, but he didn't leave. He just stood there, watching her, like he was waiting for something, for a mistake, for a reaction, for truth to slip out. Finally, he stepped back. Go rest, he said calmly. Amelia nodded and walked out. But as she passed him, she felt it. His gaze followed her all the way down the hallway. And for the first time since she regained her sight, Amelia realized something terrifying. Adrian might already know she can see. That night, Amelia didn't sleep. She sat silently in the dark bedroom, staring at Adrian as he slept beside her. Peaceful, calm, almost innocent. But now she knew better. Nothing about him was innocent. Her eyes shifted toward his phone on the nightstand. Locked, of course. But that didn't stop her anymore. Not when she could see everything. Slowly, she reached for it. Her fingers hovered for a second. Then, she picked it up. The screen lit instantly, and what she saw made her stomach drop. A single contact pinned at the top. Sophia, emergency line. Below it, dozens of missed calls. All from tonight. Amelia's breathing became shallow. She carefully scrolled. Messages loaded slowly. One line appeared at the bottom of the chat. We need to move Ella before she starts remembering too much. Amelia's hand began to shake uncontrollably. Remembering? What was a 6-year-old child supposed to remember? Then another message popped up. Sent minutes ago. From Sophia. She saw the photograph. Did you tell her yet? Amelia's vision blurred slightly. Not from blindness. From shock. Adrian shifted slightly in his sleep beside her. Amelia quickly placed the phone back down. Her heart was pounding so loudly she feared he might hear it. She slowly lay back down. But this time, she didn't close her eyes. Because she finally understood something. She wasn't just inside a broken marriage. She was inside a carefully built lie. And that lie had a child at the center of it. Morning came too fast. Sunlight poured through the curtains like nothing had happened. Like the night before was just a dream. Adrian was already gone. As usual, Amelia walked downstairs slowly. The mansion felt different now. Heavier. Every painting looked like it was watching her. Every hallway felt like it had secrets behind it. She entered the kitchen. The nanny was preparing breakfast. And there, Ella sat at the table drawing with crayons, smiling innocently. Good morning, Mrs. Vale, she said brightly. Amelia forced a gentle smile. Good morning. Ella tilted her head. You look sad today. That simple sentence hit harder than anything else. Amelia knelt slightly to her level. Do I? Ella nodded, then quietly said, Daddy says you forget things a lot. Amelia's breath caught. Does he? Ella nodded again, then smiled. But I remember things Daddy tells me not to. Silence. Amelia's heart stopped for half a second. What kinds of things? She asked carefully. Ella leaned in slightly, like sharing a secret. Like the lady who looks like you. Cold fear crawled through Amelia's spine. What lady? She whispered. But before Ella could answer, the nanny rushed in instantly. Ella, enough talking. The child pouted. But I didn't say anything bad. The nanny quickly pulled her away from the table. Amelia stood frozen, her pulse shaking violently. Because now she knew. The child didn't just belong to the secret. The child knew the secret. And somehow, she was part of it too. Amelia slowly looked up toward the stairs. And for the first time, she made a decision. She was no longer going to observe quietly. She was going to uncover everything, even if it destroyed what was left of her life. Amelia didn't go back upstairs after breakfast. She couldn't. Something inside her had finally snapped. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like a lock clicking open after years of pressure. She needed answers. Real answers. Not fragments. Not lies. Truth. And there was only one place left to find it. The hospital. The private hospital stood tall beneath a gray sky, its glass walls reflecting a version of Amelia she barely recognized anymore. A woman who could finally see. Her hand touched the wall. Why does this place feel like pain? She shook it off and continued. Records room. Restricted section. The clerk hesitated. Mrs. Vale, this area is usually accessed only by doctors. Amelia smiled gently. My husband approved it. A lie. But powerful names always open doors. After a short silence, the clerk stepped aside. 10 minutes. Amelia entered alone. The room was cold. Metal shelves. Old medical files. Patient records stacked like forgotten lives. She moved quickly, searching for anything tied to her name. Amelia Vale. Amelia Sterling. Amelia Vale Sterling. Then she found it. A thick folder. Her name written in bold. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Page 1. Brain trauma. Vision loss. Memory instability. Page 2. Experimental surgical intervention. Page 3. Amelia froze. Because the next line wasn't about her eyes. It was about her pregnancy. Her breathing stopped completely. Patient experienced emergency childbirth complications during post-accident trauma period. Her heart began to pound violently. No, that's impossible. She flipped the page faster. Another report. Another signature. Amelia Vale, emergency consent authorization. Amelia's world tilted. Adrian signed this? Why would he sign anything about childbirth? Her hands shook harder as she continued reading. Then she saw it.